evening and a warm welcome to Bottomline Africa on this night when Kenyans await the hearing of the 3 presidential petitions, which will be preceded by a status conference tomorrow. Across the border, another important election has been taking place in the semi-autonomous region of Somaliland. And we will be discussing the significance of that election plus the tale of the two Somalia in detail later on in this program. Tonight, I have my guests ready with me in studio. We have Abdul Wahab Sheikh Abdul Samad, a regional affairs analyst. We also have Yassin Juma, a journalist who has a wide experience when it comes to matters Somalia. And we also have Richard Tuta, who is a security expert. And joining us all the way from Somaliland is Mustafa, a businessman, and is going to tell us how the polls, went on today before it closed on at 6 p.m. Of course, all this and much more right here in the program. Of course, this is your favorite Pan-African show, Bottomline Africa. As usual, let's go straight to our highlights tonight. Semi-autonomous region of Somaliland has been voting to elect a new president in its third democratic election since it proclaimed independence. Burundi President Pierre Nkurunziza has introduced new restrictions for women who love playing drums. Popular Tanzanian actress Elizabeth Michael, aka Lulu, to spend 2 years in jail for the 2012 accidental murder of a boyfriend. And tonight we'll take you to Douala, where 2 environmental activists have found ingenious ways of getting plastics off the streets of Cameroon. Good evening once again. My name is Yusuf Ibrahim. On our Twitter poll tonight, we're asking you, do you think it's time the world accepted the semi-autonomous Somaliland as an independent state? Do you believe it is time the world accepted the semi-autonomous Somaliland as an independent state? It's a country that is being praised for, holding or having democracy with less money. They went to the polls today and we are waiting for that final result. And we're going to know who the next president of Somaliland is going to, the man who is going to win at that election. Our Twitter poll, of course, our Twitter handle is at KTN News and our hashtag is Bottomline Africa. You can as well tweet me at Yusuf Ibra, and definitely I'm going to go through some of your feedback within the program. Now, polls have closed in the self-declared Republic of Somaliland in the presidential election. The election will use an iris-based biometric voting system, a world first. According to the election spokesman, just over 700,000 voters are eligible to take part in the election, which is being contested by 3 candidates. At least 60 observers are in the country to monitor the poll. The presidential election is the third since Somalia's northern region decided to separate from the rest of the country in 1991. The election was originally scheduled at the same time as that for the lower house of parliament, but the two have now controversially been separated, with the latter planned for April 2019. Now, the country adopted the use of iris scan biometric technology, the first of its kind in Africa. President Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud, well known as Silanyo, whose government has been accused of corruption and nepotism, is stepping down. So the stakes in these elections are definitely high.
I'd like to say a few words in English, and I'd like to speak to the international community. Somaliland today, on the 13th of November 2017, is lining up for yet one more presidential elections. The Republic of Somaliland is known for its democratic elections. This is not the first time that the people of Somaliland have landed up in the sun, in the cold, to cast their vote. This is a biometric vote. I can only vote if I have this card and if my iris and my biometrics confirm that I am the person I'm claiming to be. I cannot vote twice. I cannot vote for somebody else. I will only vote for the person that I am, Edna Adan Ismail. And I would also like to confirm to the Voice of America and the BBC that Somaliland is not a state. Somaliland is a country. Somaliland is a country which is the oldest country in the Somali inhabited Horn of Africa. It's older than Somalia. It's older than many other countries. It's the 12th country to be independent in the Horn of Africa. It is not a state. It has internationally defined territories. And when I hear the Voice of America and the BBC describing Somaliland as a state, I hope they feel ashamed, because the British should know that British Somaliland was once part of the British Empire. And the United States should know that Somaliland has internationally defined boundaries and was also once the country that was the first independent nation in the Horn of Africa. It is not a state. It is not a region. It is not a district. It is not a zone. It's the Republic of Somaliland. Thank you very much.
Edna Arden there speaking passionately about Somaliland. Remember, once again, that report is going to form the basis of our discussion tonight. It's a country that has remained largely peaceful since 1991. They've developed. And the question is it about time that they should be officially fully recognized internationally? That is a discussion we're going to have tonight. But for now, 7 people were killed and around 20 others were injured in a grenade attack on a peace concert and reprisal violence in Central African Republic's capital of Bangui. Now, the riverside city has in the past been a flashpoint for interreligious violence that erupted between Muslims and Christians in 2013 and has since engulfed most of the impoverished landlocked nation. Interior Minister Henry Wanzat Linguisara said 2 individuals on a motorcycle approached revelers attending a concert organized to foster reconciliation and social cohesion and threw a grenade into the crowd. Heavy gunfire also concentrated in and around Bangui's PK5, a Muslim enclave in the majority Christian city. Now let's cross over to Burundi, and the country says it has categorically rejected the decision by the International Criminal Court, that is ICC, to probe crimes against humanity in the country. The decision to probe abuses in which at least 1,200 people may have been killed was made by judges at the International Criminal Court, that is ICC, just 2 days before Burundi quit the world-only permanent war crimes court, claiming it was biased against African nations.
The government of Burundi has received through international media the decision of the International Criminal Court authorizing the prosecutor of the ICC to investigate crimes allegedly committed in Burundi. Burundi categorically rejects the court's decision. In any event, Burundi will never offer cooperation with the ICC in implementing the decision it has taken against Burundi, in violation of the Rome Statute and the principles of international law. The decision is the result of the coordinated use by the European Union and its network of radical opposition activists, putekists, and certain non-governmental organizations and nations hostile to Burundi.
Et son réseau composé des militants de l'opposition radicale.
And still in Burundi, Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza has introduced strict controls over the country's renowned drumming rituals, banning female drummers, limiting the sacred tradition to official events only. All groups seeking to perform cultural shows, quote-unquote, must from now on register with the Ministry of Culture and are not allowed to perform outside of official ceremonies without authorization from the ministry. Burundi's ritual dance of the royal drums was in 2014 placed on UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage list, which describes it as, quote-unquote, a spectacle combining powerful, synchronized drumming with dancing, heroic poetry, and traditional songs. It says the entire population of Burundi recognizes it as a fundamental part of its heritage and identity.
We have learned about these measures taken by the president. They are timely measures. They will restore the value of the drums of Burundi. For a long time, women did not play the drums. The men played the drums and the women danced.
The decision has not pleased us at all because it takes away our rights as Burundian women. In Burundian tradition, at the royal palace, there was a drum that was guarded by a woman called Mukakarenyenda. It was very important in Burundian culture.
Now, Sudan's President Omar Hassan al-Bashir is in Uganda for a two-day state visit. Now, he's accompanied by senior government officials and the business community. The business delegation will be seeking opportunities for trade, investment and business. Bashir later held talks with President Yoweri Museveni, during which the two leaders discussed the South Sudan peace process. Since 2015, the Museveni and Bashir have trying to patch their on and off relations between the two governments. Now, President Bashir is wanted by the Hague-based International Criminal Court, that is ICC, on 2 counts of crimes against humanity and genocide of more than 300,000 deaths in Sudan's Darfur region.
Who is in Washington said the government is busy studying the
Now, popular Tanzanian actress Elizabeth Michael Kememeta, commonly known as Lulu, has been sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for unintentional killing of her boyfriend. Now, the former movie star Stephen Kanumba, popularly known as The Great, died in April 2012 after he allegedly fell in his bedroom in the early hours of the morning. She confessed to have quarreled with Kanumba, but she denied causing his death. The high-profile manslaughter case has been keenly followed in Tanzania. Lulu won the 2013 Zanzibar International Film Festival Award for Best Actress and the 2016 Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Award for Best Movie in Eastern Africa. Now, a South African court has ordered a former deputy government minister to pay a fine of around $7,000 or face a year in jail after he was found guilty of assault. Now, Mduduzi Manana admitted assaulting 3 women at a Johannesburg nightclub, apparently after one of them said he was gay. A video of the incident was widely shared on social media in South Africa. Manana admitted he had slapped one of the women in a phone call with her brother, which was recorded. He then resigned. His supporters in court cheered when the sentence was read out, as it means he will probably not go to jail.
We want the justice to take its course. It must protect the women, our beautiful women, against the barbaric beating of men. So we are here today to see to that the justice is being served.
Now, the 4th Annual Continental Forum on Election Management Bodies ended in Kigali, Rwanda, with the recognition of the youth as a critical asset in electoral processes in Africa. Now, the 2-day forum discussed electoral best practices and solutions to electoral management challenges on the continent. Somalia, which concluded its election in February 2017 with the inauguration of a new president, was represented at the forum as well. The Kigali Forum was held under the theme, quote-unquote, harnessing the demographic dividend through enhanced youth participation in electoral processes in Africa.
Catalyzing political party and political to create strong foundation for effective
to be there to just complain about the challenges.
This cash for votes, this cash and carry. 15 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago, at break.
In 2016, we had an indirect election. It was not an election for one person, one vote, but it was a consensus political agreement, an election like that. And really, women and youth, they really organized themselves, and also the civil society and other members from society were supporting them. And we have seen the result, because out of 275 MPs, 74 are youth now.
With Shabab in Arabic means youth. And when youth are not engaged in constructive things, when youth are not part of the process, when youth are not employed, when youth are not in good schools, this is what can happen. In the worst scenario is what is happening in Somalia. So youth, the issue of youth and youth involvement in politics, in elections, in employment, in opportunities, in all these kind of things is critically important for Somalia, more than any country in Africa.
We know that there's so much to be done in Somalia because it's a country that is in the embryonic stage of building its democracy. The Electoral Commission is still weak and needs a lot of support. And the African Union has a mandate within Article 18 of the African Charter for Democracy, Elections and Governance to provide this support, and it offers opportunity for member states, including Somalia, to request any form of electoral assistance.
Now, let's cross over to Liberia, where Ebola survivors and rights group in Liberia are calling for prosecution of international Red Cross officials involved in misuse of donor funds during a 2014-2016 Ebola outbreak in that country, saying an apology from the agency is not enough. Now, the new head of the aid agency has promised to crack down on corruption after a scandal saying the organization has zero tolerance for any grey area or black hole. Now, Liberia was the worst hit country in West Africa at the time, where over 4,000 people died from the virus. Over a period of 21 months, an estimated 11,315 people in total lost their lives to Ebola in the region. As agencies rushed to contain the disease, investigations into possible graft in the Liberian branch of the Red Cross were launched, and in 2016, the country's office was closed and its board of directors dismissed.
$2.7 million is not a small amount. It could change the lives of survivors in Liberia. Even other close relatives to survivors' life could be changed. That's a huge amount of money we are discussing here. Just a few handful of people take it and put it in their pockets and enrich themselves. It looks very bad. And of course, those that are supposed to benefit from it are not. So I really don't know. So the International Red Cross should take a serious stand towards them, not just to go on radio to apologize. There should be serious action taken on those people. That is criminal in nature. It's criminal in nature. There must be some stand taken. If it's taken from the Red Cross or the international community, I think it would be prudent enough to set a legacy. Because the loss of donors' fund that could be used in proper manner is misused. What will motivate the donors again, just in case there is another outbreak? It could not be Ebola, but another epidemic. So what will be their support? The people will be thinking about the past.
Another epidemic. So what would be the support?
Over to Cameroon, where a young Cameroonian man has created a way to get rid of the plastic waste that clogs the streets of Douala. He makes dugout canoes with recycled plastic bottles. Take a look.
Ismail and his fellow activists collect plastic waste at every opportunity they get. Used plastic bottles clog the drains and streets of Douala, Cameroon's economic hub. But Ismail had an idea: to recycle them into dugout canoes.
It's a matter of targeting the drains in Douala city and collecting all the bottles that you find there. We collect them and recycle them.
Ismail has built a 5-metre-long canoe that can carry up to 3 people, using around 1,000 plastic bottles. It's a pioneering idea for a region where fishing plays a crucial role in sustaining the local economy.
There's a real lack of canoes for fishing in here. Many young people would like to fish, but it's too expensive. A wooden canoe costs between 150 and 450, 750 euros. We can promote and recycle these canoes for use in simple fishing activities and encourage young people to get into the fishing industry.
One recycled canoe costs around 150 euros, roughly the same as the cheapest ones in wood. Fishermen from Kibri, a town south of Douala, are welcoming the project, despite some reservations.
The canoe I see there is a good one. The only thing is that it's not very solid, and sometimes there are waves. If there are too many waves, you can't go out to sea. But if the sea is calm, it could work.
Ismail has invested all his money, around €1,500, to develop the project. He hopes it will attract tourists as well, who will be able to use his recycled canoes as kayaks for leisure activities.
Well, and that report from Cameroon takes us to a very short break right on Bottomline Africa. But when we come back, we'll have that studio discussion we're talking about. And it has everything to do with Somaliland, a country that went to the polls today. Actually, it has not yet been officially recognized as a country, but we're going to discuss the significance of today's election for Somaliland, plus the tale of the two Somalia. It's a discussion you don't want to miss. We already have our guest with us in the studio. We have Yasin Juma, a veteran journalist who has a wide experience when it comes to matters Somalia. We also have Abdul Wahab Sheikh Abdi Samit, a regional analyst, as well as Richard Twitter, who is a security analyst. We'll be right back. Don't go too far.